Is stepping up its pressure on Iran to release Americans they say are being held as political prisoners. And one of those people is Ammar Hakmati, a Marine veteran from Flint.
Ammar traveled to Iran back in 2011 to visit his grandmother, but was arrested by Iranian intelligence officials before he returned. He was charged with espionage, and he was sentenced to death a few months later in January of 2012. An appeals court, however, overturned that sentence, citing a lack of evidence. But he still remains in prison, now facing a 10-year sentence. To date, he has spent 1,354 days in prison.
Now, recently, both the U.S. Senate and the House of Representatives have drawn attention to this. On Monday, the Senate unanimously passed a resolution urging Iran to release Ammar and two other Americans also held in the country of Iran. And in the House, Flint Congressman Dan Kildee has led the charge for Ammar's release, introducing a resolution that now has the support of 65 co-sponsors, Democrats and Republicans. Kildee spoke about it today on the House floor.
This is not even a bipartisan issue. This is a nonpartisan question. It is beyond politics. This is about the rights of a free man being held in Iran.
And joining us now from Washington, D.C., Congressman Dan Kildee. Congressman, thank you for being with us. I want to start by asking you, what do we know, if anything, about Ammar's condition at this point?
Well, it's difficult. He's being held in one of the most notorious prisons in the world, Evin Prison in Tehran. So his conditions, while they might on occasion improve, recently, for example, he's been able to get in contact with his family occasionally by telephone. He's serving a 10-year prison sentence. He is often in isolation. It's a very difficult situation for him. He's beginning to lose his patience. His family is very distressed over this. It's a very tough situation.
Now, I understand he started a hunger strike in the last couple of weeks.
He did, and in fact, his family and he have talked about that, and he's set aside his hunger strike. It's an expression of the frustration that he feels, and it's the reason that I and others have continued to raise this case, so that we don't rely on Ammar to have to do these sorts of things to bring attention to his cause. I want the Congress to speak with one voice, to speak for the American people, so that Iran hears loud and clear that if they intend to join the international community, whether it's through nuclear negotiations or through some other means, they cannot continue to hold political prisoners.
Now, Congressman,
we want to make that case very strong.
Well, Congressman, why suddenly the flurry now? As we reported, he's been there for what, 3 or 4 years now, and he was sentenced 2 years ago. But why suddenly now the Senate and the House jumping on this?
Well, it's not sudden at all. In fact, soon after I got to Congress, we had over 100 members join the Free Ammar campaign, sign a letter to the State Department, hold Free Ammar signs. So Congress has been engaged, but obviously we're at a particular point where the U.S. and other countries are considering the nuclear negotiation with Iran, and it brings, a spotlight on this question. And so it seemed the appropriate time to make a very strong expression by Congress that if Iran does, in fact, intend to join the global community, that it has to change its behavior, and we can't imagine accepting him into the global community unless they release the Americans that they hold and anyone else that they hold against their will.
We don't see a whole lot of bipartisanship on a whole lot of issues. I'm just wondering in this case, are you getting pushback from anyone on this, or is this really one of those issues that just everybody is getting behind?
I have not had a single member of Congress say no to me when I've asked them to help out with this. And, that's unusual, as you said, and it's hopefully something that, we can unite behind and celebrate when we do, in fact, get these Americans home.
Let's hope. That's
Maybe
what everyone...
we can build from that.
Absolutely. Let me ask you, too, I just think people may be confused. We reported that the conviction was overturned, the death sentence and whatnot. Why still 10 years? What do we know about that?
Well, he's serving a sentence for cooperating with a hostile government, which is really because the fact that he is of Iranian descent. The Iranian government considers him a citizen of their country, but he served in the United States Marine Corps. And they take those two facts, put them together, and have him convicted of being an Iranian citizen serving in the army of the military of a foreign government, a hostile government. So it's logic that we couldn't understand here, but it's based on Iranian law.
All right, what the Senate has done and what the Congress is doing right now with the bill that you've introduced here, really, while it's a great gesture, it's not binding. It doesn't force Iran to do anything. So what do you hope comes out of all this?
Well, I think it's important that the Congress, which is the voice of the American people, speak to Iran and speak to the rest of the world about this. The one thing we do know, at this point in Iran's development, they are sensitive to the perceptions of other countries and of the world. There's a spectrum of political thinking in Iran, and we're appealing to those moderate voices. Yeah. And if they know that the entirety of the Congress is standing in one position, asking for them to free this American and the others, we think it'll make a difference.
Well, let's hope that perception wins here, and you're right, that they make the right decision on this one. Congressman Dan Kildee, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
And so heading your way.